The NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg has said that the Western Defense Alliance is ready to defend itself against threats from both Moscow and Minsk. The comment comes after Yevgeny Prigozhin, the head of the Wagner mercenary group, arrived in Minsk, the capital of Belarus, accompanied, it's thought, by some of his forces. His short-lived mutiny against Russia's President Vladimir Putin ended almost as soon as it began on Saturday and Friday evening into Saturday. Now, though Mr. Putin has for the first time admitted that the private paramilitary group is financed by the Russian state. Let's get more on that with Dr. Ariel Cohen, who is a senior fellow at the U.S. think tank, the Atlantic Council. Hello, Ariel, and welcome back to the program. First of all, what do you make of these comments from Mr. Stoltenberg?
Of course, NATO is providing support to Ukraine and NATO members, not NATO as an organization. And the Russian success in Ukraine will increase the threats to NATO members, be it in the Baltic states or Poland. So NATO has to be vigilant. I think the biggest challenge today is that a lot of members emptied their arsenals and they need to reassess their military production capacity. NATO is running low on stocks of shells, missiles, and every other military materiel. In addition to that, NATO needs to reassess the battle worthiness of its troops. A lot of NATO military are in office jobs, supply jobs. These are not necessarily fighters NATO may need if, God forbid, Russia is engaged in direct action against NATO members.
And so what do you think would those threats be like, the ones that Mr. Stoltenberg was alluding to?
Russia is practicing a hybrid type of warfare these days. We saw it in Ukraine in 2014. They mobilize populations that are pro-Russian. There is Russian-speaking population in every one of the Baltic states, especially in Latvia and Estonia. They're using misinformation, disinformation, online information operations. So there is a whole vast spectrum of threats, including, by the way, something that already happened, and that's a severing of the fiber optic cables. There were a few cases in Europe and outside of Europe that Russia is suspected in disrupting global electronic communications as well as cyber attacks.
Now let's talk about Wagner Group and finally hearing Mr. Putin admitting that the mercenary group is fully funded by the Russian state. What do you make of that?
Well, this is very interesting because this is a pattern we saw in history where military groups were created either by the leader or were inherited from previous historic stages, and then there was a challenge to integrate. For example, the Knight of the Long Knives in Germany, in Nazi Germany, was putting down Field Marshal Röhm and his SA, and that ended up in a bloodshed led by Hitler himself. And also more recently in the Sudan, we saw the Rapid Reaction Force and the military are clashing in what appears like a civil war. And in Russia, also the Prigozhin Wagner group was nurtured and raised by Mr. Putin, who most probably enriched himself from the Wagner activity, and now he needs to put Wagner down. Wagner is connected to the organized crime. Prigozhin spent 9 years in Russian camps for criminal activities. This is an ugly situation for Putin, exhibiting cracks for the Russian edifice.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to get more content like this.